mean,
Period.
seriously, too many times. There's a whole lot of individuals, and I'm always on social media, and I do have YouTube on right now, so they'll be able to hear you. They just can't see you. But
Okay.
too many people are talking about, well, I want to consult with my cousin, my uncle, my brother, my sister. They're so good business people, and it's like, I get it, but did they take the life insurance test? Have
Right.
they been out here, really in the thick
Helping
of,
families.
dealing with people and their different situations and circumstances and what's important and what isn't? Most cases, that's a no.
Right.
That's a
A
no.
lot of. Hey, Roosevelt.
Hey, Roosevelt. I'm like, get this girl some stars and some likes and some loves because she making it work on here.
I thought that. Look, I am very persistent. Okay. And you're right here with me. I'm not
Yes.
quitting. But
Yes.
yeah. So, what is one of the What do you think is the? I guess the biggest drawback when you're trying to talk to someone about life insurance that actually requested information about life insurance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you the main drawback is that they say, oh, I didn't fill anything out, or oh, if somebody else may have filled that out for me, and it's
Right.
always because it's bad timing. So I'm gonna have to say that's the and she done hung. Listen, hey YouTube, what's going on? Christine L going live. I'm trying to do an interview with
Whatever is going
a
on.
young lady,
Yeah.
Sonja, but her system keeps dropping off. Um, we are talking about having the discussion with family about life insurance. 1 second. Yes, ma'am.
They shut me out again. I'm gonna go on Instagram.
Okay, and you know what? I think it might be your internet. Turn the internet, the Wi-Fi off of your device.
Turn the Wi-Fi off.
Yeah,
Because
or
what's happening is I see my clock come up and it runs real fast and then it just shuts me out. And I've never seen it happen before.
oh, okay. Do you want me to go live on my Facebook and add you?
Go live on your Facebook.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go live on my
I'm gonna
Facebook.
get my iPad.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead. I'm gonna go live right now. All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging in. So we're gonna get this together. She's having technical difficulties on hers, so I'm gonna go ahead on um my Facebook real quick and do a live while I'm here with you guys. I know I haven't done a live in a while, so welcome, welcome. We're gonna talk about a few things and the challenges in talking to our loved ones about life insurance. So, hey guys, I'm going live on Facebook. I have a meeting with Sonja, and I'm just waiting for her to come on in and join us. We were having a little bit of a challenge on her social platform, so we jumped on mine. But if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat down below. Any comments or questions, if you want to know what's the best way to be able to, start the conversation in your household about life insurance, put that down below. Hey, I see a couple people over here on YouTube that's joined. Feel free to go and put your name in the comments or put down what state you're from. Glad that you're joining in. And the same here on Facebook. Feel free to go ahead and put in where you're from. I think on Facebook I can see all the names, just not on YouTube. And again, thank you for coming in. Let me go ahead and invite Sonja to the conversation. So I just invited her to the live, although this is her interview, right? So technical difficulties, I tell you, the enemy is always busy when we're trying to do something to really help the community. It's like something tries to stop us, but we're not going to let that happen. So go ahead. I see a couple people coming in. Thank you for the hearts on the YouTube. I'm going to put welcome. And again, we are talking about family discussions about life insurance. So this kind of stems while we're waiting on Sonja to come on in. It kind of stems from just every day while we are sitting on our one of our platforms, which is Live Dials, and we hear the different stories, the different customers or clients or potential clients, and they talk about oh they never talk to their children about life insurance, or when we ask them what is your loved ones' names and phone numbers so that we can call them and let them know what kind of policy you have. A lot of times I will hear them say, well, I don't want my children to know that I'm getting, I don't want my children to know that I'm getting life insurance, right? They'll know whenever I die, it'll be there for them, things like that. And that is like the worst thing in the world that you can do. Hey, love.
Hey, boo.
Girl, I'm like running.
If Facebook had a face.
Say we be on that daggone thing where you take your hand and just be like,
yes, I want to choke Facebook today, but
girl,
hey, we here.
We are here. So just to recap you, I just started a little bit talking about, and I told the individuals that were on that they can jump in on our chat and ask questions, put in, of course, where they're from, where they're listening from. And the fact that one of the main reasons why we wanted to talk about this topic today is because of the so many times when we're on social media, excuse me, not social media, well, social media too, but when we're on live dials and we are talking to our clients, they tell us that they don't want us to call their loved ones, right? They're like, oh, well, I'm just getting the policy. They'll find out that I have it, when I die. And that's something that's very dangerous. It's dangerous
Very.
because what? Okay, so jump on in. Why is that something that's super dangerous? I'm not going. I'm going to make it flip back over where you're doing the interview.
Look, we rapping, honey. But I tell people that's dangerous because I'm like, there is no like radar that goes off that signals people to let them know that you died. Like if that person is not listed as a beneficiary, and if that person don't know to call the insurance company, that insurance company don't know to pay out. It's not an automatic thing, y'all. Like it's a contract.
Yes.
And when you have a contract, it's very specific. And if you don't let the insurance company know that that person passed away, the insurance company is not going to just volunteer to pay out X amount of thousands of dollars unless y'all call them and let them know.
Yeah, but how many times have you heard? Because I know I've heard too many times where somebody will call and say, "Can you check and see if my XYZ had life insurance?"
Too many times, probably just as many, almost as many policies as I've written. That's how many times I've heard. Not people that I've written because I make sure they know what to do. But I have people that I don't write for, random people that like they got a question. And most of the time when I get a message like that, this person trying to see if somebody had a policy.
Right.
I'm like, and I tell people all the time, you don't have to tell them, you don't have to let them know how much they got. Because a lot of people think that, I guess they scared the person gonna try to kill them off because they got life insurance.
Yeah.
But if that's the type of person that you're leaving as your beneficiary, then that might not be the person that you need to leave as your beneficiary.
Right. Right.
Which is a whole nother conversation.
All in itself, and I think it definitely comes to the trust,
Yes.
But then listen, I think about the last 5 years and how many family members have passed away. And all of them, when I had talked to them, like, hey, you all know I do life insurance now. Let me see what you have so that I can make sure you have enough and this and that. Every single one of them said, oh, I have life insurance. I'm good. I'm covered. And can I tell you? Yeah, they have life insurance. They have $5,000. What are we doing with that? Right. But yeah, but it was like, oh, I don't need anything else. I've been paying all my life. I'm not changing. It's like, we're not asking about you changing anything, but we definitely need to see what you have to make sure that you are covered. Just because you have a policy doesn't mean you're covered. Right. Yeah. And then how many times have individuals said, oh, I got life insurance. And then, I've seen stories online where people are like, oh, the insurance company didn't pay out this and that third. And then when you go all the way through the article, you find out, oh, well, they had an accidental only life insurance.
Right. And that's a major problem these days because I've written a lot of people because they thought they had something good. Like once they get a quote from me, they're like, oh, well, they told me, X company told me I can get way more than that for this amount. I'm like, you are diabetic. You have high blood pressure. Like you got a lot of issues, but you're not getting $100,000 for $10 a month. I said, could you pull your policy for, because a lot of people, all we try to do is make sure you're properly covered. I've had to tell many clients, many leads, or whatever you want to call them, hey, ain't nothing I can do. You good. and I won't sell you nothing.
Right.
Like, people are so afraid of being sold. And that's not what we're in the business of doing. We're in the business of making sure that you are properly covered and that you have what you think that you have. And a lot of times people don't. They really don't.
They don't. A lot of them
read
don't.
the policy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is sad. But then, you also have the kids, young adults, that are like, I don't want to talk to my mom about that. I can't imagine her dying. I can't imagine my dad dying. And it's like, where do y'all live? You know this is going to happen.
Right.
We might pass away
Right.
before them, which is unnatural. Could happen, right?
Right.
But it is absolutely a conversation that we all need to have, because I know for sure our loved ones don't really want to leave us with a burden.
No.
It's
they
more,
don't.
it could also be a matter of like, I don't want you in my business.
Yeah. And I think that's a big problem, because when it comes down to somebody dying, it becomes everybody's business, because at that point you're asking everybody to help donate to a cause that could have been prevented.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I don't do. I do not donate to funerals. If you had something in place, I can understand if you couldn't afford to get what you wanted. But if you don't have nothing in place, I'm not donating to your funeral. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Same. It doesn't make sense. And you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense, especially when, we're telling folk, you absolutely can build your own plan. You can have a starter plan, like literally a minimum of $20. But you know what's really sad is how many times I see the commercials that say, oh, you can get, your funeral taken care of for $9.95. And good and daggone well. And then they have that little asterisk that's at the bottom of the screen that I can't even see.
Right.
On a daggone
We just know
72-inch TV. I can't even see it. And then you get these individuals. I'm telling you, I was talking to a guy the other day. He had me cracking up. He had filled out one of my leads online, because I have some campaigns going. And I got him on the phone. He was like, listen, I don't want to hear nothing about no $9.95, $5.55. I was cracking up. I said, okay. That's not on my ad though. Like, there was nothing like that on my campaign. And he started laughing. He said, I done called so many companies and I seen the commercials, and then they tell me, oh, it's gonna be $225. I said, oh, you must have some health issues. He is like, I'm trying to get 70,000, sir. So just even in that example, he was fun, you know what I mean? And I was glad to have that conversation. But I had to educate him. I said, you wait until you're in your 70s and you're trying to get 70-something thousand dollars. You don't qualify anymore because of your health. You're thinking about a term policy. You don't qualify. And that's something that, more people need to understand. And, they need the education, and I'm going to do a little shameless plug right now. That's why both of us have free ebooks, free ebooks that allow individuals to start to understand term, whole life, final expense. Like, so you understand what are the differences in these policies without having to feel like you're going to be pressured or sold. Right? Because I get the spam calls and I'm like, I can't get a word in.
They won't let you talk. They gonna tell you they are straight telemarketers, sell people, okay? And I refuse to be those type of people. Like, I cannot. I get agitated when they call me. Yeah. So when I call people, I make sure I'm asking them questions. I want to know what's important to you. And I'm very transparent. Well, we're very transparent about what it is that you can qualify for.
Right.
There's a lot of people that are older that just automatically think they can't get anything, and so they don't even check and they don't want to listen. But we're brokers, and the difference between a broker and an agent, I'm going to give you a little preview of what you may find in one of our books, because our books helps who shop for life insurance, what things to look for. When you're talking with an agent, that person only have access to one, maybe two, maybe three. Okay, I'll give them three. I'm going for a stretch.
All right.
But us big brokers, we have access to all the carriers in the state, which is why we're able to shop like we Amazon or Google for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can shop and find what carrier will actually cover you, because Allstate might have told you can't qualify, or they may have sold you a $100,000 policy for $10. but they didn't tell you that that policy is only going to pay out if you die in an accident.
Right.
And guess what an accident is? Whatever they wrote in that contract that you did not decide to read.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And that's just facts. That is just facts.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm in here right now. I'm sending some invites out. Those that are on here, go ahead and share this out to your
Yes.
social media so individuals can get on here and just hear a little bit more about insurance. We're not selling you anything today. We really want you to understand how serious this is, right? It's so serious.
It is.
It's the reason why the majority of African Americans, I'm gonna just put it on out there, are broke and stay broke is because we lack knowledge.
Mhm.
We lack knowledge. And then the things that you hear, you find out, I can't listen. This one guy, I'm like, if I can get to daggone, where's that guy at? I don't even know what state he's in, and I'm not gonna say it because he might be listening. If I can get to where he is, I would choke him because he is perfect health. He's the perfect age. He's making the right amount of money to be able to put in monies to build wealth. And he's like, it sounds too good to be true. I said, honey, I'm not talking. I gave you black and white. It's from the company showing you how much you. He's like, I know. I mean, oh my God, this is so wonderful. And this and that. I said, and most of my African American men already have felonies and can't even get qualified for this wealth plan. And you over here telling, I said, you know what, baby? God bless you.
God bless you. Because if you're scared to do it, you ain't going to do it as long as you need to do it, which makes our business look bad.
Listen, yeah. And he has money in the savings account. I said,
wow.
The one thing that a lot of us don't understand is when we save money, we're losing money. We're losing money. And the reason we're losing money, not because the banks aren't giving us X amount of interest or dollars on our dollar, but because the cost of living keeps going up.
Right.
The cost of living keeps going up. So our money is just sitting there, not doing anything. It's not growing like the cost of living is growing. So our money is losing value.
Right.
And we think we're saving. That's why it's like we were talking to a guy that had so much money, so much. I mean, he had businesses. And it was like, okay, so we're going to need, $950 for what he wanted to do. And he's like, okay, well, my money is tied up in the annuity I already have, the 401k that I already have, any other policy I have, but this definitely makes sense. So I need to pull some. And he wasn't one of us. And I said, see, he has assets. He has his money somewhere. He's really just looking to see who's going to give him a couple more dollars on his dollar.
Right.
Whereas we over here thinking we need to have thousands sitting in a checking or savings account, like we're saving.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Knowledge. Now you're supposed to have some liquid money, but not,
And it all comes with mindset. A lot of people, they want something, but they not disciplined enough to do what they need to do because they can only see the money they have now. I spoke with a lady the other day, very successful business owner, and she has her IRA, and she wanted to talk about it, getting an annuity. And I was like, okay, an annuity is fine. So let me ask you about your health. Because for me, I don't force anything on anybody, but I'm going to share facts.
Yeah.
If you're healthy, it might be a better option. You already have a tax-deferred account. Right. So do you want to put all your money into a tax-deferred account? And she said, well, when I get ready to retire, I'm only going to have one stream of income, so it'll be less taxes. I said, well, do you think taxes are going to go down as the years go, or are they going to go up?
Right.
She said, oh, wow. She said, I didn't think about that.
Right.
Like, yeah. I said, so whether you got one stream of income or two, if taxes go from 7-8% to 20%, that one stream of income you got about to get murdered in taxes. So she's going to get an IUL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's just a matter of knowledge. You know what I mean?
Right.
And slowing down enough to listen. But just going back to the families. Going back to the family. My sister, when she passed away, Lord, and I was in the insurance business when she passed away. It was 2 years that I was in the insurance business. And I wasn't full-time yet. It was like I just figured out how I wanted to be in this space, like how I fit in the insurance industry. And I was like, I need to be a manager. Like I love training, inspiring, motivating folk. Like I'm digital all day. I create all kinds of things. I'm like, okay, God, what are we supposed to be doing here? But it all fits in my business, right?
Right.
And she passed away. Now she
Mhm.
had a final expense plan because we of course got her one because my mother was caring for her for about 9 years before she passed. Um,
Okay.
so we definitely had a final expense plan. And then she still had life insurance through the job, which she was on short term that turned to long term disability because of her stroke and things, right? But we still
Okay.
had to pay a monthly amount for that insurance, which was way more than what it was when she was working. All right.
Yeah.
So that policy, when I tell you, I was on a retreat to learn how to be a manager and all that. It was the day after my sister died. Like I was like, I'm not going to not go because I'm still alive. I still need to figure my life out. So I was literally on this retreat in the hotel trying to get a hold of the claim department from her job.
Mm.
I swear, I tell you, if it wasn't for Kristen Sarnik, if she's on here, shout out to you. Always will love you for that. If it wasn't for her support up in there, I was ready to kill everybody. Like my whole everything was different because of the
Yeah.
stress of trying to just get to the insurance,
Mm.
right? To get to that money through the
Right.
job. Through the job. So you didn't get a policy. We didn't have a policy. We had like a certificate or whatnot.
Right.
We called the 1-800 number. They were like, oh, well, the company, since she had not been there for years, they switched insurance companies, which it was somebody different. So I
Yeah.
had to go through hoops and loops. I left voicemails. They never called back. I finally got somebody. They told me I had the wrong department, sent me over to somebody else, sat on the phone for hours. I mean, it was stressful. This is the job insurance, that $500,000 policy, right?
Right.
When I tell you, it took almost 6 months to the date to get that money to be released after weeks of fighting just to get the paperwork to start the claim,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
Almost 6 months. And then when it came, it was a fraction of the amount that was supposed to be, that was on the certificate. Nobody knows why. We still question that. Like, what the heck happened? Oh, well, there was this had to be paid for, and that had to be paid for, and school loans, and this and that, and the third. Like, what?
And you paid for it though. Y'all was paying for the policy.
For the
Huh.
full amount. Right. So we don't never know. I'm not poo-pooing on work insurance. Listen, if my one of these carriers was giving me some life insurance, I'd take that too.
Right.
I'd take it too. Because it's a group rate, which is very, very inexpensive. But I understand my family gonna go through HE double hockey stick to get it, if they get it at all. And the
Right.
companies have all the control. So this is why, like at that time, and I was going through all that stress, I was like, Mom, do you have life insurance? Who do you have? Like, Dad, what do you have? Tanya. Like, I started going through the closest people to me because of
Yeah.
all of the heck I was going through with just hers. It made me more aware that having your own policy matters.
Yeah.
Knowing the company, knowing the phone number to call, having the policy to copy for you, like, it matters. Because that company said,
Having that shit.
yeah, they said,
You know.
well, we need a copy of the policy in order to pay it out. Now, you know she's been on long-term disability for 10 years. What the policy gonna be? We done moved her out of one place to the next place, right?
Wow.
And they never gave a policy anyway. So that was part of that. We called in. We didn't know who the beneficiary was on the form. So they waited to mail us a hard copy. Then we got the hard copy and snap. They would not email it. They mailed it. Waited for that to
Yes.
come in. And then whoever's name was on there, that person can call in to get the information. That was weeks.
And that person couldn't.
They could, yeah. That's the person
Oh,
that had to call in, the
gotcha.
beneficiary. But they wouldn't tell us who the beneficiary was when we called. It
Right.
was like a whole little racket. It was a racket. Whereas her final expense policy called them and it paid out, right?
Like,
She'd had that
okay.
one for about I think like 5 years or so. That paid out in like 2 days. No problem.
Right.
And thank
Right.
God for that, right? But that other one, and then for it to be a fraction of what was expected, mind blowing. So you have to have the conversations with the family members, and you need to see what they have. My mother was like, oh, well, I think I still have life insurance because your dad had a big policy when we were married, and then we got divorced and he kept the policies and I got to keep the house. Sis, what? I love you, Mom. Sis, what? Called dad like, well, I cashed hers out when I married, my new wife on the policy.
Right.
What?
Girl, I tell people to always just check. Just don't know, especially with the job insurance. Like you said, the key word. If the carriers offered insurance, you would get that too.
Yes.
That means with, because it should be supplemental to you having your own
Yes.
private contract with the company, because there's no
Absolutely.
middle. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting on some people right now to check on their policies at work. They want to see what they got. Okay. When you
Nothing.
find,
Listen, you don't have anything. For the next time, Sonja, that somebody says that they want to check with their company, let them know you don't have anything. According to
I
the
think,
state, you don't own it. You don't have it. It is not yours. Period.
yep.
They
That's
have
why
no
I tell them,
say.
policy, the job has the policy. And that job, like you said, they can switch up whatever and pay out whatever. And most of the times, they're gonna find one little reason, because and the thing is, these reasons are in the contract.
Yes.
But unfortunately, you don't see it, because
You
that's
don't
not what
see
they tell you got $500,000 of coverage. They're gonna take $2 out your check every week.
Yes.
You're like, okay.
Yes.
And you don't ask more questions. Y'all ask more questions about buying a freaking cell phone than you do about buying life insurance, which is sad. It is sad.
They don't know the questions to ask though. I'm a side on the
Okay.
clients. They don't know what questions to ask, because there's so many policies. We sit here. I remember when I was in the field, one of the last times I was in the field, and that's like the only time back then I was really getting to see TV. And I remember sitting in this lady's house, and it was like commercial after commercial after commercial, final expense commercials. And I was sitting there like, oh, there's one of mine, okay. And they say that's what we see all day long, final expense, and I'm like, what channel are you watching? That would depress
Right.
the heck out of me to see that every 15 minutes. But it's like they're like there's so many different ones. And a lot of times they're like they get that salesperson who just wants to make a dollar and who don't care and doesn't care,
Right.
because a lady told me, oh well, honey, I don't qualify for life insurance. So sorry to waste your time. I said, well, who told you that?
I was like, who told you that?
Yeah. And she's like, well, this guy that came to my house and we went through everything and I didn't qualify. I said, well, are you 90?
That's the first. Are you 90 yet? Like,
I
you're
said,
90 years old.
I said, well, honey, if you're not 90, we can qualify you.
Yes.
And we're not going to break the bank. So let's go through some questions. Here, I was able to get her day one preferred rate. She has COPD and was on blood thinners because of something that happened years ago. And you know what it was? Day one. I don't know if we can say carriers' names, but it was one of our carriers' day one benefit. And she like hit the roof. Hit the roof. What you saying?
Roosevelt, he said, great stuff, guys. Christine, glad you're explaining the work insurance. He said, Sonja, they can't check on their work insurance because they don't have any.
Right.
He said, I tell them this daily. All they say is, when my uncle died, the company took care of them. How you know? And that's another thing. Now, some jobs, if they are paying for their policy, they could have a legit policy.
No. So
now,
no. Mm-mm. So when they're paying into that policy,
I'm trying to help make job policy not look all bad, but that is.
Listen, when they are paying, because I paid into Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. I worked for them for 14 years, made about $56,000 a year. Came over here and did that in 2 years. Didn't know what I was doing, but anyway, I loved my job though. I'm gonna be real. I didn't know any better, but I didn't know any better. Anyway, I paid the extra monies to get the higher tier of life insurance. I paid the extra amount every 2 weeks to get the higher amount based on the tiers, because I was like, oh, if I pay this amount, I can get that amount, right? And nobody sat down and explained how the life insurance policies work, this and that and the third. I was there 14 years before getting laid off, and I was vested, right? I got the little package, showed me all the stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Right. I thought I still had life insurance. I still thought I had my $1 million policy because I had paid all them years. But no, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
But this was after you left, right?
After I left, after I was retired, and I got my little severance packet. I got my monies. I got how much I should be getting when I retire, all the things when you're vested with a company. No, not even $1.
Wow.
Not even $1. And I was like, I got the Cobra paper for health that I was able to take over my health, but not every single company will allow you or even have the option for you to take that life insurance. Now, there's a couple companies I know here locally in Pennsylvania, like UPMC. They do allow their clients, their employees to take the policy, but
Okay.
you're going to pay the additional. Like it's no
Right.
longer in what's called a group rate. So a group
Mm.
rate means it's like the credit union. Everybody's all together. So they put you all in this little group and then they create or give you your rate based on the group as a whole.
Right.
You step out of the group, now you're an individual and you're rated based on your age, your health, your pre-existing conditions and all the other things. Now that rate is like most times triple and most people can't afford it.
Right. Right.
So that's where it's dangerous, where you don't have and control your own. And talking to your family members, they're like, oh, I got it through my job. That's a problem. If
Yeah.
you are asking your loved ones, do they have life insurance? They're like, yeah, I'm covered with my job. You are not protected.
I don't get how people got so much faith in their jobs when people like the jobs don't even keep you on the payroll. They can fire you when they get ready. You think
But
fire
that was me. You couldn't tell me nothing about my job.
yeah, that's the
I can't even be mad at nobody. That was me. I
yeah.
listen. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting them kids together, dropping them off at the daycare, single mom, running there, driving out to the trolley station, getting on a trolley, dealing with all the stress, get to work. And I was happy to be there. No, that
Right.
was your girl. I'm gonna be honest. I was happy to be there. I was able to have
Yeah.
my hour and a half lunch. I had my freedom because I was salary. Didn't know that I was still making around minimum, not even minimum wage after all the hours that I calculated once I was gone. But I loved
Right.
being there with my
Yeah.
little office and my windows, being
Oh,
able to look out at the point while everybody was enjoying life and I was working, but I didn't know any better. I loved my job. You couldn't tell me anything.
right.
That's why.
Mm-mm-mm.
Because we're in it. We're in it. You know what I mean? We're in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Well,
that was 9/11 and they told me I had to stay on the 24th floor to the last person got off the floor. And I was like, well, I ain't nothing but a manager. What you talking about? I gotta check the bathrooms. I started realizing like, yo, like you're not paying me enough for this. But before that, I was the one I was retiring from that company. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's how.
Wow. And like I
Yeah.
said, a lot of people they trust in the job insurance just like they trust their job is going to be there forever. And one thing I ask people when they say, "Well, I got it on my job," I was like, "Well, do you plan on dying on your job?
That part.
You want to retire. If you live long enough, you want to retire." So
Yeah.
I asked your HR department, "What happens when you get ready to leave that job?" I spoke with one lady. She was about 67. She had just retired a couple years ago from working for the state.
Hmm.
It was like, she had her policy and everything, and for her to keep it and pay what she was paying, it went from a large amount down to about $8,000 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, well, because at that point now they're just going to adjust the amount to what you're paying,
Yeah.
but you're 60 years old, and $8,000 ain't going to really do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not
But
everything.
imagine how many people don't know that.
Too many. I
Yeah.
had a lady ask me last night because I was at I was at a business gala last night, and I was networking, handing out my card, asking
Yeah.
everybody what. And I'm constantly reminded that a lot of people, really don't know the basics. Because on my card, I have the services I do: term life,
Yes.
whole life solutions, all of that. And she said, "Can I ask you a question?" And this young lady she was older than me, and she asked me. She said, "What's the difference between term and whole life?"
Right.
And I'm like, dang, Sonja, people really don't
They don't
know,
know. They don't know.
which makes it more important for us to do stuff like this with educating the people. And, because they may see stuff on TV. You got people like Dave Ramsey out here just drilling term, term, term. And people don't know the difference because they're not really telling you what it is. They're only telling you how it benefits. But every type of life insurance has its purpose. And it's not a one size fits
It's
all
all right.
deal, which is why I became a broker, which is why I'm sure you became a broker so that you can help people how, where it really matters based off of what they need and what they qualify for.
Right.
I started out with that company, and
Hmm.
I didn't qualify for my own policy. How am I supposed to
Wow.
other people? I was only 31 years old. because I was pre-diabetic. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yes.
I don't feel sick. I wasn't even diabetic. My doctor had put me on meds because I was like, getting up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that got me. And so I was questioning my whole life. Like,
Yeah.
I get this life insurance license for, and I can't get no policy. I didn't know there was other companies. I didn't know there was other products.
And see, and just think about that when you had asked the question a little while ago, how people don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. We don't know the questions to ask or anything. We just know what we know at that time, right?
Right.
Because I mean, I was in the business 2 years and didn't know about leads. And for those leads are individuals that fill out a form and then it comes in and then it gives us a name, number, and an address for us to go and help them with coverage. Had no clue.
Right.
2 years. No clue. I found out about them leads, girl. I went crazy. Give me a name and a number. Let me come knock on your door, right? Don't come knock on my door though, because I'm not answering. I'm just saying. But but I was serious. Listen, and when I would get into the hum, and one of the main things, and I'm glad we're having this conversation today too, even just a reminder for ourselves to always make sure that we are asking those questions to the people that we're talking to. That was one of the main things in my script. Do you know the difference between term and whole life?
Right.
And final expense, right? Because there really are just two main types of insurance, term and whole life.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of different breakdowns in between the two types of products, right? But knowing the difference. And I'll get people all the time like, no, I just need insurance. I don't care what it is. But you should.
But you do.
Yeah, you should care because some of them are only going to last you to 10 years. And then where you're running around thinking, oh, well, I don't have to pay anymore. So my policy's paid off. No, bro, no, sis. That means you don't have any coverage. And now you're older. You may have had a pre-existing condition. And now what you're going to have to pay today could be triple. Could be triple. But listen, I'm going to say it now and I'm going to say it till the end of this daggone live and every live I'm on. Don't let somebody tell you that you don't qualify for life insurance. It means that you don't qualify for their product or whatever product that they have that they can sell you.
Right.
Long as you under 90 and even some product, I mean, there's a company that I know of that can go over the age of 90. But I mean, come on, y'all. Let's not wait till we're 90 to be asking about or trying to get life insurance. Because it's by your age and your health. It's going to be super expensive. You know what I mean?
Right. But that's exactly right. I mean, at the end of the day, people that, like I said, everybody qualifies. Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing I want y'all to know, that if you are not 90 years old, you qualify. What question should I ask tomorrow?
I love that.
Okay, Roosevelt, I'm glad you asked that. I actually did a video about that before. 3 questions to ask when, shopping for life insurance or when talking to somebody about life insurance. The amount that you're getting, it is important, but you want to ask them, instead of asking, or how did I word it? How long after I pass away? How long do I have to have the policy in place for it to pay out? Because a lot of people don't know that they're on 2-year wait plans. And you also have people that think everybody's on a 2-year wait plan. I found that out from talking to people. The more people I talk to, the more I learn what people don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I learn from my clients just as well as they learn from me, because it's important for me to know where the lack of education is when you're talking about life insurance. Another thing is, will it pay out any way that I die? Because people are out here selling accidental plans like Hot Pockets, and people are buying them because you get a lot of insurance for a little bit of money, but 99% of those policies never pay out because you have to die a certain way. Mm-hmm. You got anything? I know you got something, Christine. You've been in the business longer than me, so let me learn me something.
I'm like, and while I'm doing that, while I'm getting ready to respond, go ahead and put your where your book is. I just put my life insurance ebook. It's easy to read and understand. It's on the lifenowstore.com website, and under digital products, you'll see it. It's the only one that's free. What to ask the employer? You need to know exactly what policy you have, and the coverage amount, who to call. So you need everything. You need a policy. Most likely, they're going to tell you that they cannot give you one, which it should be a red flag. And then you're going to let them know, well, you need to have something that states that you have life insurance, how much, and who to contact when you pass away. Because if you don't
Right.
know and you don't have it, how do you think your loved ones are going to know? Right?
Mhm.
Like I said earlier in this call, it took me weeks to get to the right department when my sister passed away, just to get the claim process started.
Right.
A lot of stress. And like my mom was like over it. She's like, there's no way. And I wonder why there's millions and millions of dollars that go unclaimed. People don't know about it. They don't know how to claim it. They don't know who to reach. They get frustrated and they just be like, whatever. It probably
Yes.
wasn't nothing anyway.
Right. And then
Yeah.
it could have been something, but because you're dealing, like, that dealing with the chaos of the death and
Yes.
trying to figure out how to handle things without having the funds, it's a lot. And, I tell people, you really don't know how important insurance is until you really had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I haven't had to deal with it personally. Like, I've never had to bury anybody. But working in this industry, I feel like I've experienced it somewhat because I have to hear the stories. I have to hear people calling me like, I can't get in touch with my agent. I don't know what I had. I don't know this and that.
Yeah.
And here I didn't write it, but I'm going to help you because I feel like doctors, they have this, don't they say like an oath? That,
it's kind of, yeah.
To help people. And I'm like, hey, if I don't do it, ain't nobody else going to help this person.
You feel that obligation. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know what I walk around like, our job is so important. And a lot of us don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It is so important. I sit there and I look at my stack of leads, which are lives, and I get overwhelmed sometimes. Like, Christine, you need to get to these people.
Right.
They're waiting on you. They don't know that they're waiting for you, but they're waiting on you. You know,
Right.
and it's so important. Going back to that family, y'all, there should be family discussions. Like, y'all get together to go smoking a daggone weed, drinking your drinky drinks, right? Having a great old time, playing cards and everything else. All the things, well, I don't smoke and I don't drink anymore either, but all the things that I enjoyed before, right? There's nothing wrong with having a great time and enjoying life. But every now and then we need to have these little, huddle ups and be like, listen, I'm gonna have my siblings, my kids, kids, and everybody at the house. Christine, I need you to come on over here, or we need to get on Zoom. Let's talk about this. Let's get us all down so we all know what we need and get this taken care of. Call Sonja. Let's get this stuff together so that we can get this taken care of. And you can do it as a unit, right?
You can.
It's the easiest way. I've had little insurance parties back in the days when we were in the field, and I actually enjoyed it. I brought the coffee and the donuts. Although I kept eating the donuts, that's why I was getting heavy. But we ain't talking about that right now. Lord have mercy, girl. Give me a donut and a coffee. Anyway, and I don't even eat sweets, but it's something about the combination of like coffee cakes, donut, and coffee. Like, I could drink coffee all day. Give me something sweet with it, and it's a wrap. But we did it, and it was like when families got together, they felt strong about making that decision and knowing that everybody knew what was going on, right? Everybody knew what was going on. Why are we not doing it? Because we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about it enough, right? And that job, girl, I'm sorry. We talking about families, but y'all families, most of you guys will call your loved ones and they'll say, I got it on my job. And you're on here. It is your responsibility now to tell them, then you don't have any coverage. We need to make a difference. This is why we stay broke and the other ones don't, because they understand how to leverage their dollar by means of life insurance.
Right.
They're leveraging their money in insurance, and it doesn't even cost that much.
Right. It's almost everybody I talk to, the life insurance is cheaper than what they've quoted themselves in their head.
Yes, and I'm like looking for my phone, but I'm on my phone. Yes.
Don't know anything about it. But I tell people too. I saw your husband actually I saw him post a video the other day too. Because I did one similar a while back.
Yes.
Telling people, check on your aunties, check on your mom. You don't know who's depending on you to be the person to pick up the pieces when the family member dies.
Right.
And you could be that person left to hold the ball. I had a lady that she got so many policies because she's like, she's that person. She has to cover her siblings. She got to make sure mama, daddy, aunt, and uncle, if something die, it's going to fall on me.
Yep.
And
That's
like,
me and Raheem.
it's sad.
Yeah, that's both of us in this household. We don't have cable. We don't have cable. We looked at that cable bill years ago, and I swear we was paying over $300 for cable.
I been got rid of that too.
Listen, guess what replaced it? I pay life insurance for my mom. I pay it for my children. I pay it for my husband. He's got, I believe he has one on me, but if not, I got enough of them on myself. Listen, everybody has a policy. And those younger ones, when I found out that there was actually a 30-year return of premium or 30-year return of premium option for term, which means that the rate was super inexpensive because these kids were young enough and healthy enough. Thank God I got my daughters before she had that DUI. Lord, thank you. Because you can't qualify after that happens, right?
Right.
And that's why it's really important to get these babies covered because we don't know what life is going to happen. Now, I ain't fronting on my baby for having a DUI because most of us should have had one too, but just didn't get caught.
Just didn't get caught. Right.
Right. Let's just be clear. Right. Let's just be clear. But it's a reality of an example of things that happen as we get to 21, like 21, 22. I don't know about y'all, but if you keep it real, who was like waiting to get to 21 to wild out? Well, Raheem on here, he said he did that when he was 12, 13. So we ain't talking about him.
Right. Look,
but you know,
legally wilding out, right?
Yes. But seriously, like that's why they're young. And I got that 30-year return of premium and it was so cheap. And then I seen how much money that she could either get back.
Right.
Well, she's not getting that money back. It's going to go to a paid off policy that is truly paid off. It's a difference. I never heard about a term policy with return of premium option.
That's a whole game changer right there.
Listen, and yes, a little more than, you know, your traditional term because you're actually going to get money back. So it's like a savings account. And then the wealth building plan, you know, and we'll say not even wealth building plan, but the index universal life where you lump, if your agent knows how to customize it the right way, then more of your money will go to the cash value than to the death benefit, right? Because there's different components. We'll talk about that another day. But to be able to have that set up with that compounding money, and for me to be able to look at that illustration and say, well, you know what? It's hard for me to save money right now. Every other freaking day for 2024 has been me getting hit. Mom in the hospital. She just called me like, you know, I got to have the doctor appointment tomorrow. I'm like, when can I get back to work? Right?
Yeah.
Getting hit. But see, that money that's going in them policies, I can't touch that money.
Right.
It's in there. I mean, I could, but imagine me calling and talking about, can I pull out some money? And I got to wait 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. By that time, I done already figured out what to do. Bottom line is, I see that my money is saving for my children. And no matter what, it's going to continue to grow because I have it on auto pay. And it's so inexpensive that for me not to pay it, that's just flat out being irresponsible.
Right. So I tell people it's like your life insurance, that people like they don't want another bill. I forgot who said it. I don't know if it was I know my coach from my previous company said it, but I believe someone over here said it too. That life insurance is the only bill that you're going to pay that's going to take care of all your bills when you pass away.
Right.
And that's true. Yeah. And it's also something that you can't afford not to do. Like if you care any bit about your family or who you leave behind, why would you want to leave them in that situation?
Right.
Of GoFundMes or begging for money, especially when you're one of these people that look like you living a good life. You taking trips, you dress well, you got nice cars, you got nice
shoes.
You're wearing your life insurance and you're spending money on stuff that'll make your policy cost more if you don't already have something in place.
Right.
When you take a fraction of that money and at least take care of your final expenses.
Yeah, at least.
You know,
at least. Yeah. But what about the fact that I think really since the pandemic, a lot of these life insurance companies have leveled up by means of now there's the living benefits, which of course we know what that is, but that is you being able to use that life insurance policy while you're alive. If you happen to get a terminal illness, cancer, strokes, heart attacks, like that's a game changer.
It
And
is.
and individuals that are sitting there like, oh well, I already had my whole life insurance a while ago. I already had my final expense a while ago, years ago. You don't have
Benefit.
the benefit that's going to help you today if you get or have in the future a pre-existing condition. This is why it is so important every couple years to have a policy review to see what has changed and what I may need to add so that I make sure that I'm completely covered, right?
Right.
Because that for me all day a game changer. I
Yeah.
absolutely shut off my final expense plan and put because this final expense is the most expensive out of all of them.
Right.
I took that bucket because I'm healthy and I threw
Mhm.
it into an index universal life that has the living benefits because my family's huge with heart issues, huge with cancer. I already had biopsy years ago. I need to go back in here, but I was like, let me get on my insurance before I go to the doctor because I've been in the business. I'm smart, right? So, but I'm being honest though, but that's something that is in the family. Why would I
Right.
not want to make sure I have a policy that's going to cover me? That if God forbid I end up with cancer or something like that, I can tap in to that $500,000 policy, right? I can tap into that and use it to go on a trip or do things that I like to do
Right.
with my family because you can use the money for anything you want, but it's your
Right.
money.
And
These are
it's
the
tax.
different things. Hmm?
And it's tax free.
And it's tax free.
Baby, gotta step
You
on
don't have
that
to
one.
worry about Social Security, disability, messing and knocking on your door. It's tax free.
Right.
That's like, it's a no brainer. But the
Yeah.
knowledge of knowing these things makes the difference of not. And when you
Yeah.
leave this earth, whether you're going to continue to leave debt or you're going to be able to leave somebody with a little bit more than what somebody else left you, it's
Wow.
your choice.
It really is. And it's
It's
up
your
to you to
choice.
make the right one because we have choices, but everybody don't make the right choices. But
Yeah.
um, if ain't nobody had no questions, thanks, Daniel.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I see. And Roosevelt, thank you for tuning in. Thank y'all all
Oh,
for
Roosevelt. I think Roosevelt wanted to get on camera. We missed that. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. I didn't see it.
We'll do a live. We'll do another one with him one day. I'll get you on,
That'll
Roosevelt.
be dope. That'll be dope. Get
Yeah.
some other folk on here. But
Yeah.
it's so important, guys. Our people are passing away every day. I had to end on my storytelling. I had a client that had called me a couple months ago, and everything was fine. She was just like, you know what? I wanted to check in my policies. I haven't talked to you in a while. Blah 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 blah. And so we did a policy review over the phone, and I was like, well, since I've expanded, I do more than just final expense. I do family plans. I could take care of those grandbabies, so you can get some money to compounds and give them, a nice car or something when they get to college. I do mortgage protection. She was like, wait a minute. You do mortgage protection? I said, yes, ma'am. She's like, let me get my husband. So she goes, grabs her husband. She's like, Chrissy does, mortgages now. And he's like, for real? He's like, oh my God. Well, people keep calling us, but I'm like, I don't know you. The trust thing, right? But we know
Right.
we need to get it. I'm so glad you do that. So we went over, what they paid us at third. And so we got them additional coverage for the mortgage. And the wife was like, well, shoot, compared to what we're paying for that final expense, we could just put all the money on this plan. I said, well, wait a minute. Because I gave my IUL instead of term. Just
Okay.
because he was younger, healthy. And then, just because
Yeah.
like it just made more sense to have that money even after the mortgage was paid off. It just made more
Right.
sense. It was almost the same price as a term
Right.
for his age. It was weird, but so anyway, and I was like, but your final expense, even though it is a little bit more, it is the one that's paying out in 24 to 48 hours.
Right.
This one
Right.
won't pay out that fast. This one's more for like income replacement, things like that. Won't take a long
Mhm.
time, but it won't be that 24 to 48 hours. So understand the
Right.
difference. And she was like, I'm so glad that you broke that down. I said, yeah, just because it doesn't seem right. You just got to understand what the policies are
Right.
for.
Right.
So we were looking at her son's policy, and I said, you know what? You know, even though we can save a couple dollars, I'm not comfortable with you canceling that policy that's already been active for 6 years just
Yeah.
to do this. But we can add to it. But they were like, well,
Right.
we're right at that budget part. Like we can't add any additional. I said, okay, cool. Keep what you have. He passed away last month.
Oh.
A young
What?
young man passed away. Had an aneurysm. That's the third one in the last like 5 months. that somebody under the age of 40 died of an aneurysm. Yeah, like just gone. And she was there. She tried to save him, didn't know what was going on. And I was like, had I been a greedy agent to be like, yeah, let's go ahead and move that over here and get that they'd be in that 2-year contestability period.
Right.
And that would hold up that payout. Whereas they were able to get that money right away.
Right.
And I was just in here like, God, I am so glad that I am the way that I am, and that I love on my clients, and I try to do the best by them. I do the best by them that I would do for my mom. And y'all know I rocks with my mom, right? There's no question. So I thank God for that, because I was sitting there like, oh my God, she called. And I went through our messages, and I remember it was in the text log where I said, do not cancel that policy. None of them. Like, do not. I don't care who comes to that door. Thank God for that, because they were able to get that money, and she called and she was crying and, all the things. And I was just like, wow, young aneurysm, just like that though. They were on their way on vacation.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. So we don't know. Tomorrow was not promised to any of us. And so it is so important to understand what you have today. All about that waiting until you get to your job to ask them what you have. Honey, you don't have anything, because it's not yours. You need to think about, if you're paying extra to the job, stop paying the extra and take that money and put it on your own policy and start building for your own family, something that you have control over.
Right.
And I'm done.
Right. Well, I think we have definitely shared enough information for the people today. If y'all didn't get to catch the whole live, it will be on. I don't think you're going to delete it.
No.
You can go back and watch it. You can take notes, and you can reach out to us. You can reach out directly to Christine. You can reach out directly to me to ask any questions, because we love to make sure that the people are informed accurately, and we both qualified to do so. So thank you all for watching.
Absolutely.
You, Christine, for your time. Because like I said earlier, people can be doing anything else with their time, because time is something you can't get back. So I don't take it lightly that you were willing to, join with me today. So
hey, I appreciate it.
I got a prayer with my page. I don't know what's going on. They kept booting me out today.
I know, but that's all right, because I never ever go live on my Facebook. So we this is a new era. So we're gonna be doing that more often. I'm like always like, Facebook. But we need to consistently show up, right?
Right.
So Sonja, go ahead and say out loud what your website is, please.
Okay, my website is www.restassuredlifesolutions.com. My business page is also Rest Assured Life Solutions. And if you go up there on my page on the website, it'll say put your email to subscribe. If you put your email there, I will send you a free copy of the ebook on how to shop for life insurance. And Christine has one as well, and she can tell you how to get hers.
Yep. And I will tell you, I'm subscribed to her webpage, and she does not spam me. Let me just let you know. The stuff that I get is very informative and appreciative, because I can't stand when somebody hits me 20 times on my email.
I was doing weekly. And I was like, when I check, and I really take into consideration how I feel when I look at my inbox. So I'm like, I ain't going to do y'all weekly. I might see you monthly. You know what I'm saying? If you don't hear from me for a while, I ain't forgot about you. I just don't to be bothered, bombarding you. Come sure you get a lot of information in your email. But thank you for, verifying that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you could probably do every week or once every 2 weeks. Because again, the information that you are sharing is valuable. You're not spamming. So that's good. And again, my site is the lifenowstore.com. Mine is in the digital products. You just click on it and you can get that digital book that's going to break down the different types of life insurance in a very simple, easy to understand form, so that you can, one, figure out what you have, but just call us. Just call us. There's no pressure. Just call us and let us make sure that you have what you need, and that you're set up. Oh, baby, thank you. And with that, we out of here. We are out of here. Thank you.
Love you.
All right. Love you back.
Bye, babe.
Peace. And I don't know how to end it. We're going to end that. And I'm going to end that.
Button at the bottom.
I think I got it.